and welcome to Lecture Loops. Java is a platform-independent language. It is also an object-oriented language. What, according to you, is the best feature of Java? Tell me in the comments. In this video, we will cover topics like variables, data types, and how to perform input-output operations in Java. Okay, so without wasting your time, let's start. So first of all, before moving to any programming language, you must understand what is actually a program. Okay, so here we will see basically you will be given a problem statement, and if you develop a step-by-step solution of any problem, then it is actually a program. Okay, we develop a step-by-step solution to get a desired output. Okay, you also need some data or input. Okay, so this is the basic thing of programming. You can understand with an analogy. Suppose you want to make a pizza, then what will happen? Basically, the analogy is that you must have some method, or you can say the recipe of pizza. Okay, then only you can make pizza. Also, you need ingredients. The second important thing is ingredients. You need some ingredients, then only you can make pizza. And if you have right ingredients and the correct method, you know how to manipulate these ingredients and what to do with these ingredients, then you will definitely get a pizza. In the same way, if you have correct input data, correct data, and you know how to manipulate that data or how to perform operations on that data to get your result or to get the solution, then you will make a correct program. Okay, now what is this programming language? Basically, we have to develop step-by-step instructions. Then what is the need of programming language? Basically, these instructions or these step-by-step instructions are executed by computer only. So computer, basically it is computer is a machine and it understands only the machine language, and the machine language is actually binary. It means that it is in the form of 0 and 1. So computer understands only the language of 0 and 1, which is called machine language. And we write these instruction or steps. We cannot write the instructions in the form of 0 and 1. It will be very difficult for human beings. So human beings write instructions in the form of some language, some programming language like C, C++, Java or Python. And then what happens? The compiler or interpreter of these languages convert these instructions written by the programmer into the machine language so that computer can execute those instructions. Okay, so this translation is done by the specific compiler of a particular language. So this is the thing about the programming language. Now we move to the variables. What are basically the variables? Variables are nothing but the name given to a memory location. What does it mean? Name given to memory location. The meaning of this is actually that program needs data also. Okay, so we have to store this data somewhere. So everything that we need to store, it is stored inside computer memory. Okay, and our program data is also stored inside this program memory. Whenever our program wants it access this data into the program, it performs manipulations and then again it stores back this data into the memory. So how to access this data, retrieve this data, manipulate, and then again we have to store this data. So basically we use a particular name and we provide a name to this particular memory location where our data is stored, and that thing is called actually variable. So suppose this is a memory location and we have given any name to it like roll number. Okay, so this is a name given to this particular memory location where we can store our roll number like 36. Okay, understand? So this is basically the concept of variable. This is the value of the variable. This is the name of the variable. What are the naming conventions of the variable? Basically, there are two things in the language in Java. One is identifier and one is keyword. Keyword, actually predefined words are there which have predefined meaning and they have special purpose. Like you can say static, public. These are some keywords. They have special purpose. We cannot use them anywhere. Okay, wherever we want. Actually, they have special purpose, special places where we have to use them. But identifiers are actually the user given names. Okay, so user can give any name to a particular variable, a function. We can give any name. So this is called actually identifier. So there are some rules, like we cannot start name of the variable with digits. This is one of the rule. We cannot use any special character except underscore. So if you write A1, it is a valid variable name, but if you write 1A, it is not a valid variable number. Understand? Variable name, sorry. In the same way, if you write roll and then space number, this is not a valid variable name, but you can use roll underscore number. This is a valid variable name. Got it? Also, you must understand that Java is a case sensitive language. Means if you write ROLL roll, or if you write ROLL, these will be treated differently with Java, with the Java interpreter, because it has a capital letter and it has a small letter. These are not one and the same thing in the eyes of Java. Okay. Next thing is, in Java you have to declare a variable before using it. If you are using a variable, first of all you have to declare. And if you have to declare, declaration is so important that you must then you must understand how to declare a variable. So for declaring variable, you use data type. What is the syntax? First you will write data type, then space, and then the name of the variable, and then semicolon. This is the basic syntax of declaring any variable. Like you can write int x, you can write float age, like this. Understand? So you can, this is the data type and this is variable name. We will understand what are data types and what is the difference between int and float in the next section. And now I will tell you, as soon as you write these statements or you declare this variable, what will happen? First of all, a memory place is reserved for this x, and this memory place will be given a name as x. In the same way, one box is reserved for this floating type data, and this box will be named as age. Understand? So this is the, this happens when we declare any statement. Now what is initialization, or we can say assignment? So we have got these boxes in memory, and now we can keep our data inside these boxes. How to keep our data? For that we use assignment statement or the initialization statement. Whenever we assign the values for the first time, then it is called initialization, and then it is called assignment. If we assign the value second time or third time to the same variable, then it is called assigning the value or this assignment statement. If we are assigning the value for the first time, then it is called initialization statement. Okay. So let's see. You will write the name of the variable, then you will put assignment operator, and then you will write the value, whatever value you want to enter. Okay. Suppose I write it as 28. And then you will put semicolon. This is assignment operator. What it will do, it will take the value from RHS and it will keep that value, assign that value to the variable that is there inside at LHS. Okay, so 28 will be assigned and 28 will get stored inside X. In the same way, if you write age equal to 18, then it will be assigned in this box like this. Understand? So in this way we can assign the values to variables. If you understood this much, then press like button. Okay. Now we move to data types. What are data types in Java? Basically, data types define in any programming language. Basically, data types define the type of data, what type of value it is going to store. Okay, and the second thing is what type of operations that we can perform on that particular data type. This is done by the data type. There are basically two types of data types in Java: primitive and non-primitive data types. Primitive data types are built-in basic data types, and non-primitive data types are actually, some, we can say, some complicated or advanced data types that we derive or make from primitive data types. Okay, so in this section we will only understand the primitive data types, and in later lectures we will understand what are arrays, classes and interfaces. Okay, so what is integral? Actually it contains various data types which are integers, or we can say the whole numbers without any fractional value, without any decimal points. Those are called integral data types. Integral also have different forms like byte in Java, and one is short, one is int, and one is long. Basically, there is no difference in these four, only the difference is in the range and the size of these variables, these data types actually. So, byte is of only 1 byte, while short is of 2 bytes, integer is of 4 bytes, and long is of actually 8 bytes. So the range or the size varies, means we can put large values, in the long data type, while we can keep short values in, age. So sorry, in a short variable. Suppose for example age, we know that maximum value can go to 100 like this. The age of any human being cannot be more than 100. If it is 100, also more than 200. Okay, we can say at the most. Okay. So in that case, we can keep it in short variable. But like the distance from sun to moon and all these type of long values, if you want to keep large values, then you can use long data type. And for the basic data types, for the basic range, you can use integer data types. Okay. So it can contain positive values also and negative values also. Now we come to real data type. Real data type, basically it is used to store fractional values like 67.3, 0.0009. These type of values we can store with the help of real data type, and there are two variations. We can have float and double. Again, the difference is nothing but only in the range and the size of these two variables, these two data types. Then there is character. Character, we declare it with the help of char. This is the keyword. Okay. So char is actually nothing but it actually takes 2 bytes of storage, and these are characters, like this is a character, this is a character, this is a character. Any character from the character set of Java is called character if it is enclosed in single quotes and it is a single character, then it is called character. It takes 2 bytes. Okay. In C and C++ we can see that character takes only 1 byte, but the difference in Java is there, it uses Unicode actually instead of ASCII codes. Then there is Boolean variable, Boolean data type. It has two possible values, true or false. Again, if you have to compare 10 is greater than 5, this is true. So this type of values can be stored with the help of Boolean data type. So this is all about the data type, and now we will make a simple program, and then so that you can understand the basic structure of Java and how to make programs. Okay. So here we are in BlueJ environment and we are doing our task 1. Okay. So for making program in Java, you can see the first line. I have imported here the scanner, this import java.util package, because later on in this program I am going to use the scanner class for taking input from the user. The next line is public class task1. Task1 is actually the name of our class, and public here indicates actually that it is accessible from anywhere. Okay. Then you can see this line, public static void main. This is actually the basic structure that you have to write in each and every Java program. Okay. And main is actually from where the execution starts. It is the name of function, and void, basically void specifies that our function is not supposed to return anything. Okay. Then static is basically used because we need not to use any object to call this method, and then public is used again because it is accessible so that it is remain accessible from everywhere. Okay. So now if you want to print any simple message, then you have to write like system dot out dot print. Okay. And then you can write any message that you want to, welcome here, and then you have to put a semicolon. Okay, like this. So that's all, and let's compile this, and you can see that there are no syntax errors. So we can go to execute this void main, and you can see that welcome here. Again we are going to execute this. You can see the output as welcome here. Alright. Now again we can go to editor and we can perform some changes here, like if you want to print the next message in the next line, then you have to use println here. Okay. Now we'll see system dot out dot print like hello everyone and semicolon. Okay, now we'll again compile it. No syntax error, and again we are going to run it, and you can see that welcome here and hello everyone. Okay. Yes. Now yes, what can we do is now we can declare a variable like this, int x equal to 30. Okay, and then you can print the value of this variable also. System dot out dot print ln, and you can write it like x equal to plus x. Okay, so it is compiled with no syntax error. Then x equal to 30, welcome here and hello everyone. So in this way, you know, you can print the values of the variables here also, right? And you can use any variable here, like double you can use, character you can use, and you can print the values here like this. Now we go to scanner class. Suppose you want to take input from the user, you don't want to print or initialize, you don't want to initialize the value, and you just want to take input from the user. Then what you have to do? Just you have to create an object of scanner class as new scanner and system dot in like this. Okay, and then what you have to call? You have to call a method like sc x equal to sc dot next int. Okay, and now we'll see what happens. No syntax error. Close it. Yes, you have to see, you can see type input and press enter to send to the program. You enter any value like 45 and press enter, and you can see 45 x equal to 45, welcome here and hello everyone, right? In this way you can perform, you know, various tasks, and you can take input of different kind from this Java programming language. Okay, so that's all in the program. We will make more and more programs. We will see how operators are used in program in our next video. So stay tuned with me.